Welcome to class, and today we are going to be looking at Amazon Relational Database Service, Amazon RDS. They don't expect you to cram all of this abbreviation, but understand what they are talking about. If I say EBS, for instance, what am I talking about?
Elastic block storage.
Thank you. If I say S3, what am I talking about?
Simple Amazon Simple Storage Service.
Service. Thank you. If I say EFS,
Elastic File System.
thank you. Now, when you are talking in a cloud engineer interview, for instance, and they say, what is the difference between EBS and EFS? You should not be surprised, right? The first
No.
thing you could do, you understand? The first thing you could do is EBS, that is Elastic Block Store, you understand? And
Mm.
EFX is Elastic File System. They will know that, oh, this person actually know what he or she is talking about. Are we still here, please?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I said we have two major kinds of databases. Number one is what? Relational database. And the second one is what?
Non-relational database.
Thank you. So read for us now, Miss Bella.
In a relational database, data is stored in a way that relates it to other pieces of data. An example of a relational database might be the coffee shop's inventory management system. Each record in the database would include data for a single item, such as product name, size, price, and so on. Relational databases use structured query language (SQL) to store and query data. This approach allows data to be stored in an easily understandable, consistent, and scalable way. For example, the coffee shop owners can write a SQL query to identify all the customers whose most frequent purchase drink is a medium late.
Okay, now the first thing we need to pick from here is that relational databases uses SQL, relational structured query language, to store and query data. And they said they store data in such a way that each record in the database includes data for a single item, such as the product, the name, the size, and the price. Let's look at this picture here. Example of a data in a relational database. You can see ID, number one, the product name, medium roast groundnut coffee,
Brown coffee.
okay, or ground coffee, thank you. Size, price. Then we go to number two. So this is the way a relational database looks like. You have your rows, you have your columns. Okay,
That's
so
like all
that's
those primary school register. That's relational
exactly
database.
fantastic. So
Okay.
now that now leads us to the Amazon Relational Database Service, RDS. It's a service that enable us to run relational databases in AWS cloud.
Cloud.
Are we here?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So it enables us to run relational databases in AWS cloud. Amazon RDS is a managed service that automates tasks
Sir,
such
I
as
think I
hardware
see some
provisioning.
services in the lobby. I'm sorry to interrupt
Oh,
you.
okay. Okay.
What do you say, Vera?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. All
Yeah.
right. Are they in now?
Yes, they are in now.
Okay. So Amazon Relational Database, we said, is a service that enables us to run relational databases in the cloud. We already see how a relational database looks like. It uses SQL. your structured query language, and we have our columns and our rows. And we say it's a managed service that automates tasks such as hardware provisioning, database setup, patching and backup. When it's a managed service, it means you are not going to do anything on your own. Just bring your data and put it there. With these capabilities, you can spend less time completing administrative tasks and more time using data to innovate your applications. You can integrate Amazon RDS with other services to fulfill your business and operational needs, such as using AWS Lambda to query your database from a serverless application. Amazon RDS provides a number of different security options. Many Amazon RDS database engines offer encryption at rest, protecting data while it is stored, and encryption in transit, protecting data while it is being sent and received. What do we need to know here? The takeaway here is that we should know that the same way we have MySQL, the same way we have uh, MariaDB, every other relational database, Amazon also have a relational database in the cloud that you can use for your service. Of course, as a cloud engineer or as a DevOps engineer, you are not expected to begin to do um, databases, but you should be able to set it up in the cloud. We are going to do that. I sent a project to the group. Only one person made comments. I smiled because we are going to deploy a database there, and we are going to either use MariaDB for that project or MySQL. About LAMP stack, that we're going to be using Linux as our server, installing Apache for the website, using
Okay.
MariaDB and using PHP for the
Okay.
deployment of the e-commerce application website. All right. So we move on. Somebody want to ask a question? Okay, we move on.
No, no, no.
All right. So Amazon RDS database engine. See what they have done. Amazon RDS is available on six database engine, which optimize for memory, performance, or IO. Please, anytime you see I/O, they are talking about input, output. Now, supported data and database engine include, it supports Amazon Aurora, PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB,
Oracle.
Oracle database, Microsoft SQL Server. All of these are database engines that you can deploy on your own. Like we are going to deploy this, either of these two, in a Linux box, either CentOS or Ubuntu, as we proceed in our project. So the next kind of database, someone should read this for us. Miss Regina, welcome to class.
Amazon Aurora. Amazon Aurora is an enterprise class relational database. It is compatible with MySQL and PostgreSQL relational databases. It is up to 5 times faster than standard MySQL databases and up to 3 times faster than standard PostgreSQL databases. Amazon Aurora helps to reduce your database cost by reducing unnecessary input-output operations while ensuring that your database resources remain reliable and available. Consider Amazon Aurora if your workload require high availability. It replicates 6 copies of your data across 3 availability zones and continuously backs up your data to Amazon S3.
Do we understand this? Now, it's it has the same capacity of what MySQL and Postgres SQL relational database can do. Look at what they now went ahead to do. It's 5 times faster than standard MySQL and
database.
3 times faster. And you know the purpose of coming to cloud, there are 2 things. Number one, speed. Number
Yeah,
two, availability.
availability.
Now, speed is there. They now went ahead and say it's being stored in what? 3 availability zones, and there is a backup. So what are they doing? They are simply saying MySQL, Postgres SQL, begin to find your level. So if you're looking for high availability and reliability, Amazon Aurora. And remember, it is an enterprise class relational database. You can have a question in that regard that says, which of the following is an enterprise class relational database? You will now see Amazon RDS, Amazon Aurora, then other stories. So understand that. And who can tell me the difference between an enterprise class, then a client end class relational database? What will be the major difference?
And what?
Client end.
Enterprise is for organizational use, while client end is end user, I think.
Okay, thank you. Just majorly, enterprise is going to require more load, and that means it requires more capacity. So enterprise, big organizations. Why for just maybe 2 or 3 people, you can use the client. Or yes, this is another thing we need to talk about. Someone should read this for us. Amazon Dynamo DB. Amazon Dynamo DB. Non-relational database. We've discussed about relational database. Now we are looking at non-relational database. Miss Regina, read for us if you can. Okay, she's not there. Okay, Kayode, read for us.
All right, sir. Amazon Dynamo DB, non-relational databases. In a non-relational database, you create tables. A table is a place where you can store a query, okay, where you can store and query data. Non-relational databases are sometimes referred to as NoSQL databases because they use structures other than rows and columns to organize data. One type of structural approach for non-relational databases is key value pairs. With key value pairs, data is organized into items in brackets keys, and items have attributes in brackets values. You can think of attributes as being different features of your data. In a key value database, you can add or remove attributes from items in the table at any time. Additionally, not every time in the table has to have the same attributes. Not
Now,
every item.
thank you. Not every item in the table has to have the same attributes. Now, just understand that Amazon Dynamo DB is an example of a non-relational database. Why Amazon RDS and Amazon Aurora are relational database. Okay, so
Now, please, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
okay, ask a question. Ask.
Uh, is Amazon Aurora not inside Amazon relational database service?
No, it's not.
Okay, so they are
They are two
separate.
different things entirely.
Okay.
Mr. Benedict, you want to say something?
I was actually going to ask the same question this guy just asked right now because from the other slide you listed Herrera as one of the Amazon database, and now it's saying it support what they call it.
Okay, so I'm just seeing something now. So you said like I think you said like engines that Amazon relational database supports is Amazon Aurora, those MySQL Maya database and all. Sure you get. So I thought maybe Amazon Aurora is inside Amazon RDS. So I can see now that it's only like a what is compatible with Amazon
Yes. What is,
RDS.
thank you. What is compatible with? Compatible with. So there is Amazon RDS on its own that you can use, a relational database machine of its own. Then you have Amazon Aurora that has the capacity to work with both MySQL and PostgreSQL. 5 and about 3 times faster than both of the standard of those ones, and it's an enterprise grade. Now, example of data in a non-relational database. You know, we shared one the other time. See, this is key and value rather than the one we have before. Look at this. This is a relational database whereby you have the ID, product name, size, price. You are having column and you are having rows. But here you have key and value, and just number one, under number one you already having the name, the address. You know, it's a non-relational. Once you are seeing stuff like this,
So number one has nothing to do with number two.
yes. All right.
Mm.
So this is what now give us what Amazon DynamoDB is. It's a key value database service. It delivers single digit milliseconds performance at any scale. First thing you need to know here, it's a key value database. That is, it's a non-relational database. It delivers single digit millisecond performance. It's serverless. What does it mean? Who can recall what we mean when we say something is serverless? Just like our Lambda. Remember?
Lambda is serverless.
Yes, just like our Lambda, which means that you don't have to provision, patch, or manage server. You also do not have to install, maintain, or operate the software. Just tell them you need DynamoDB that can store this, push your server, your information there, your database there, and then you see the second thing, automatic scaling. Are we here? As the service, as the size of your database shrink or grow, DynamoDB does what also? Automatically scale to adjust for changes in capacity while maintaining consistent performance. Remember, you always pay for what you use. So it's better to have um, services that can scale. When you are not using high usage, automatically it will shrink in order to accommodate what you are using, and when you need more space, it open up as well. All right, any question please?
Yes. I have an issue with this serverless.
Okay.
Yeah. You said you do not have to install, maintain, or operate or operate software. So if there's operate software, okay, it's not like there's no OS. Sorry, I thought it was saying you do not have to install an OS. So I just read it right now.
Okay. Okay, so any other question please?
Yes. What do we mean by relational and non-relational database? Like, if they are
Okay.
relational, is there something so special about?
Okay, um your question is what's the difference between them and why should I choose one? All right.
No, why do we call it relational and we call the other one?
Non-relational, okay, fine. Relational because you need your data to be structured. You want it to be in column, everything. Look at the relational here. The first product, you need the size of that product, you need the price. You can go ahead and say you want to know the weight, right? The weight of the product. You understand? You can go ahead and say you want to know the ingredients that makes up this product. When you need something that is well structured, you can use relational database for your customers, and you say, oh, the name of this person, his address, his location. When you need a well structured database, you go for relational database.
It's
But
well
when you just need
organized.
something, somebody is saying something.
I said it's well organized and it's
Yes.
user friendly.
And the another thing you need to know is relational database stores data in form of rows and columns. Please note that. Those are the questions they can ask. Why non-relational database stores information in the form of documents or pages? You will see it in form of documents or pages. You see it here, just like a document. And relational database are what we call SQL. They are structured query language, while non-relational database is none or no SQL. Are we there? We can go further by saying, if you are right, all rows in a SQL database forms a table. All rows in a SQL database forms a table, while all documents in a no SQL database forms a collection. We don't need to go into those nitty-gritty, but just understand the difference, and that is it. Any question again? We want to test
So
our knowledge. Okay, ask your
as,
question.
as AWS expert, are you required to know SQL, like how to write the code and all that?
You don't need to, except you want to be doing database, except you are a database engineer.
Okay.
If all you want to do is to be a DevOps engineer, you just need to know how to install a database, how to manage it, how to push data to it, which are some of the things we're going to look into. All right. So, first question here says, what are the scenarios in which you should use Amazon Relational Database Service? Pick two.
Mine is using SQL to organize
Using
data
SQL to
and
organize
storing
data.
data in key value database.
No, I will not pick storing data in a key value database.
What will you pick?
Why will you not pick that? Because that is a what? That is a
Non-relational.
non-relational database. Thank you. And you've already read up there, Amazon Relational Database. So this is a relational database. So we know that number one is using SQL to organize data. Fantastic. And we know that running a serverless database is not going to be correct. Why? Because
Yes.
DynamoDB is the one that is a serverless database.
And
So
it's no SQL.
it's not SQL. Fantastic. So storing data in a key value, that's out of the road. So scaling up to 10 trillion requests per day. Remember that what scale automatically is DynamoDB.
Auto scaling.
Okay, so the answer should be using SQL to organize data and what? Storing data in an what? In an Amazon or rather
Database.
Database.
database. Okay, so we move on. We move to the next one. Amazon Redshift. Ms. Vera, read this for us.
Amazon Redshift is a data warehousing service that you can use for big data analytics. It offers the ability to collect data from many sources and helps you to understand relationships and trends across your data. Amazon Redshift is data warehousing as a service. It's massively scalable. Redshift nodes in multiple petabyte sizes is very common. In fact, in cooperation with Amazon Redshift Spectrum, you can directly run a single SQL query against exabytes of unstructured data running in data lakes. Data warehouses are engineered specifically for this kind of big data, where you are looking at historical analytics as opposed to operational analysis. And this is where Amazon Redshift comes in handy.
Thank you. What is the takeaway here? Number one, it's Amazon Redshift is a data warehousing service or data warehousing as a service. When you are trying to run an historical analytics, like something that has happened in the past, that's where Amazon Redshift comes into play, compared to an operational analysis of your database. Just understand that Amazon Redshift is for data warehousing. One of the reasons why we touch these things is when the name comes, you should be able to pick one or two things about them. Thank you. The next guy, AWS Database Migration Service. Now, some of us have, why do we want to do this migration? Some of these, some companies already have their existing infrastructure, right? Maybe they've deployed MySQL on their on-premise server. Now they need to take it to the cloud. How do they do the migration? Do you understand? That's where AWS Database Migration Service, DMS, comes into play. Read for us, Ms. Vera.
Okay. AWS Database Migration Service. It enables you to migrate relational databases, non-relational databases, and other types of data stores. With AWS DMS, you move data between a source database and a target database. The
Thank
source
you.
and okay.
Who can tell me what do you think they mean when they say source database and target database? What
Source
Mm,
is
concept?
where you're migrating from, where the target, where you're moving it.
Thank you. Fantastic. Source database is your on-premise current database you are using, and the target is the new database in the cloud that you are intending to migrate to, right? Now, do you know that it's possible to have a relational database on-premise and you want to migrate to a non-relational database in the cloud, right? That's one type of migration. And you can have a relational database on-premise and also want to migrate to a relational database in the cloud. That's also another kind of migration. So we're going to look at the two. Ms. Vera, continue.
all right. During the migration, your source database
No,
remains
the
operational.
source. Okay, fantastic. Continue.
Okay. During
Continue.
the migration, your source database remains operational, reducing downtime for any applications that rely on the database. For example, suppose that you have a MySQL database that is stored on premises in an Amazon EC2 instance or in Amazon RDS. Consider the MySQL database to be your source database. Using AWS DMS, you could migrate your data to a target database such as an Amazon Aurora database.
So it becomes seamless. That's simply what we are saying there. Okay. So you can do, um, there's going to be 2 or 3 major kinds of migration. Other use case of AWS DMS is a development and test database migration, enabling developer to test applications against production data without affecting production users. Remember when you are migrating, they told us that our source database is still going to be still going to be running, which is going to reduce downtime, and everything is migrated to the target database. Is up and running there. The two of them is going to be running until you now decide, oh, now my target database is up and running, I can shut down the source database. All right, so you can use it for data consolidation, database consolidation, and then for continuous replication, that is sending ongoing copies of your data to other target sources instead of doing a one-time migration. Okay, so other database services that Amazon provides. Amazon Document DB is a document database service that supports MongoDB workload. MongoDB is a document database program. Just read through. Amazon Neptune is a graph database service. So when you hear questions that, okay, what type of AWS database that support graph database, remember, is Amazon Neptune. You can use Amazon Neptune to build and run applications that work with highly connected data sets, such as recommendation engines, fraud detection, and knowledge graphs. Then we have the Amazon QLDB, Quantum Ledger Database. It's a ledger database. These keywords, those are the things you should pay attention to. Ledger database, QLDB. Now there is one that is used for blockchain. Remember, one of the latest developments that we are having in tech is your AI and blockchain. So we have Amazon Managed Blockchain. It's a service that you can use to create and manage blockchain networks with open source framework. So let's note that. Then we have Amazon Elastic Cache. It's a service that adds caching layers on top of your databases to help improve the read times of common requests. Then lastly is our Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator. That is an in-memory cache for DynamoDB. All of these are not great, but those ones we've discussed earlier are the major one, like understanding the difference between relational database and non-relational database, and the examples we have around them. Module 5 summary. In Module 5, we have learned the following concepts: Amazon EC2 instance stores and Amazon EBS, right? We discussed what instance store is. That these are the kind of storage that is attached to an EC2 instance when it is created, and they also dies, or they have the same lifespan as the EC2 instance. Once the EC2 instance is terminated, we lose every storage or data in this kind of storage. And we talk about Amazon EBS, which is what? Elastic Block Store, and that it stores, is a block level storage. And the advantage of this is we can create it, detach it, and attach it to a new instance. We talk about Amazon S3 and the kind of tiers or types of S3 that we have, and that this stores data in buckets and in form of objects inside a bucket. We look at the standard S3, the standard S3 IA, in frequent access. Then we look at the glaciers and so on, and we talk about EFS, and we differentiate between EFS and EBS. Please remember that. Relational database and Amazon RDS, non-relational database and DynamoDB. We talk about Amazon Redshift and then Amazon DMS and other services we can talk about. So let's do some knowledge check now. Question 1. Which Amazon S3 storage class are optimized for archival data? Select two. This question goes to Miss Regina. Which Amazon S3 storage classes are optimized for archival data?
Mm,
I
should
know
I
the
answer
last
it?
one.
The last one, you are choosing two. Oh.
Okay,
Okay.
two. Okay, the last
Yeah,
one and the first one.
for archival data.
Actually, S3 Glacier and S3 Glacier Deep Archive, I
Thank
think.
you. You don't think is correct? You should be sure.
Okay.
Okay. So when anytime they talk about archival data, data that you are going to keep in an archive for some time, that you are not going to be accessing, that's where Glacier comes in. And we said that the difference between Glacier and Glacier Deep Dive is the time you want to use to access it.
Mm.
Please, let's watch the last video and read our notes. So the answer is S3 glaciers and S3 glacier deep dive. Okay. Um, Miss Vera, read this
So,
and answer first.
Mr. Malcolm,
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
please. Now, like, let's assume we are in the exam this thing now, and they ask us this question, and we have two answers. We have two answers in this question now. So,
You
what if
have what?
we now say we have two answers in this last question that you asked?
Yes.
So, what if we now choose one? Hope they won't query us. I mean, they won't remove our mark. That
You've
why
lost
didn't
that.
we?
You've lost that answer already. They will tell you that choose to. So read your instructions very well.
Okay.
Let's
Yes.
move on.
okay. Which statement or statements are true about Amazon Elastic Block Store volumes and Amazon Elastic File Systems? Number one, EBS volumes store data within a single availability zone. Amazon Elastic File Systems store data across multiple availability zones. Number two, EBS volumes store data across multiple availability zones. Amazon Elastic File Systems store data within a single availability zone. Number three, EBS volumes and Amazon Elastic File System both store data within a single availability zone. Number four, EBS volumes and Amazon Elastic File Systems both store data across multiple availability zone.
We started this class with this discussion, and you specifically asked me this question, and I answered it. So if you miss it, you are going to buy snacks for all of us in this class.
Start the first one.
Eh?
The first one.
Which one is the first one? Say it.
Well,
Let's
the
hear
first
it.
question simple.
Elastic Block Store volumes store data within a single availability zone. Amazon Elastic File System store data across multiple availability zones.
Because you don't want to buy us snacks. It's okay now.
Ọpẹ́ o. Father, I thank you.
So EBS volume stores data within a single availability zone. Meanwhile, EFX stores data across multiple availability zones, making it very highly available. Thank you. Next question, Kayode.
Okay. You want to store data in an object storage service. Which AWS service is best for this type of storage? Amazon Managed Blockchain, Amazon Elastic File System, Amazon Elastic Block Store, Amazon Simple Storage Service. Oh, wow. Hmm. Okay. I choose I choose S3. Amazon S3. Amazon Simple Storage service.
Isabella, is it correct?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Why did you say it's not? Read the question. Oh.
Sir, let me see.
You want to store data
For
in an
data in an
object.
object storage service. Object.
Mhm.
Okay.
You are
Sir,
confused.
yes.
Now, we said at the beginning, instant store and EBS, they are block storage level storage. While
Mm,
S3 is an object
storage.
storage.
Okay.
So it's correct by
It's
picking
correct.
Amazon S3.
And that's how I would have gone to choose another thing.
Is anybody who else is here now? Okay. Um
Benedict.
Benedict, he has gone. He has left the training. Regina, back to you. Which statement best describe Amazon DynamoDB? We discussed DynamoDB together. So
Yes.
read. Which statement best describe Amazon DynamoDB?
Serverless.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No, I'm not choosing no.
Uh-huh.
It's
This
a
one we have not
serverless key
started
value
testing now.
database.
You dey fear.
No, it's B. It's a serverless key value.
Key value database. They said the first thing they said um a service that enables you to run relational database. That one automatically is wrong, right? Because DynamoDB is a non-relational database. It's a serverless key value database service, which is true. Number one is serverless and it's a non-relational. Okay, and they say a service that you can use to migrate relational database, non-relational database, and other type. Who can tell me what is that service
What
that
you
you use
say?
to migrate? Huh?
What do you say? What do you say?
What's the service in number C there? That's C. What type of service is that? That's our
Um,
AWS DMS.
DMS.
Okay, that is used for database migration service. All right, let's move to the next question. So she's correct. The next question goes to Miss Vera. Read and answer. Hi, this question is too simple.
Well, make I do
Hmm?
make
Read
I
and
answer.
answer now. You will give us, if you miss it, you give us lunch.
Amazon Redshift.
You see now, she don't even read the question.
To the top.
Why did you choose Amazon Redshift? Back up your answer with evidence.
I use elimination method.
All right, we already know that
See where
Redshift.
I
Anytime
see
that
there your
eh, she said she used the elimination method. Anytime you are seeing data warehouse, that is your Redshift. Definitely. Data warehouse. All right. So next class, we are going to be looking at security. I think this is where one of the things we're going to be looking at. So in the next class, we're going to be looking at security and then benefits of shared responsibility model. And can we have a class tomorrow, please? Tomorrow is public holiday. So can we confirm?
Yes.
Okay.
By night.
No, I can't have class night when it's
is
public
it
holiday.
me that does not even observe public holidays? I'm jealous, so which kind like this one?
Ah, me,